Hey Mike, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going?
Going all right, and you?
Good. You found the place all right?
Yeah, they're pretty obvious. Jackson Park, pretty big place.
Yeah, I kind of like every once in a while doing something outside. I feel like it's a little more relaxing, a little less intimidating. Some big office. So before we just get started, I just wanted to talk to you about the idea of confidentiality.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the term before?
Not really.
So to put it one way, it pretty much means that everything we stay here is gonna stay here. So kind of like whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I do work with a team of colleagues who I will be sharing if I have any questions. I work with my supervisors just for clarifications, but other than that, everything stays here. Except for there are a few times where confidentiality has to be broken.
Okay.
So for example, if you say anything that indicates harm to yourself or harm to others, that's a moment where we have to break confidentiality for the safety of you and others. If you say anything that indicates harm to a vulnerable population, such as elderly or children 15 and under, that's when we have to break confidentiality. We can break confidentiality if you give consent for us to break confidentiality. So if we need to get medical records or anything and you sign consent for that, that would be a time. And if we're subpoenaed by court for any reason and they request our case notes, so sometimes I will be making case notes and I hope that's okay. Just you're allowed to see the case notes at any time. The case file in our record office, that's yours to see. All you have to do is just request to see it. So those are kind of the times where, and also if there's any talks of suicide, things like that, just to make sure that you're going to be safe. We do need to break confidentiality to identify the resources, the hospital, just to make sure that you're okay. So does that sound all right to you?
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
Okay. So I just wanted to make that kind of crystal clear. It's not that we're going to be going around saying Mike said this, it's pretty much when there's some sort of risk to someone or yourself that we can make sure that everyone's safe. And at the end of the day, that would be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Good. And we'll go over this moving forward in each session. We'll just brush on it again, make sure everything's crystal clear. And if you have any questions at any time, just feel free to ask. Sound good?
Yep, sounds good.
Perfect. So I'm just curious, what brought you in today?
Well, lately I've been thinking a lot of my father. I haven't really seen him in a very long time, haven't really talked to him in a long time. And I'm not really sure how exactly to even really contact him. Everyone I know doesn't have his number, doesn't know where he lives anymore. And I want to have some sort of relationship with him. And I don't want, for me, like the last thing for me to find out is just he died as far and me not to have spoken to him in so long.
Wow, that's got to be incredibly stressful. Has he, that lack of relationship with him, has that been something that's been an ongoing thing for a while?
For a while, yeah. Like, it he hasn't really talked to me or anyone in my family for a while. He used to call me a long time ago, and I don't know if it was because I wasn't really giving much effort to try and call him, or that phone calls just stopped.
For sure. And when's the last time that you've had contact with him?
I want to say about 4, 5, 6 years.
Wow. And what's that doing to you emotionally?
Well, it bothers me. Like, I'm always scared that I'm never going to ever see or hear from him again. Like, and then just one day he'll be dead, and I'm worried that might just mess with me completely. Like, I won't be able to take it.
So, I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm sensing that there's this idea of like something unsettled or like unfinished business that you're looking to, and just like seeing if there's something to be repaired with him. From what I'm understanding, let me know if I'm kind of off.
No, it seemed pretty, like, I want to, like, have some sort of healthy relationship with him, like, for it just to, like, disappear out of nowhere. Like, I feel like he doesn't know who I am, and I don't know who he is these days. Like, I'd like to know more about him about me. I don't want me to just be someone that's just out of his life and not existent anymore.
And so I'm I'm just sensing in your voice that there's a little of uncomfortableness even just talking about this. I'm sensing just like, are you feeling kind of vulnerable right now?
A little bit, like a little bit, like I almost don't know like what I would say to him. Like even if I did get the opportunity, like I don't know if I know how to talk to him anymore. Like I don't know if I could even like talk to him like I would do my brother or my mom or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because it's been so long.
So I'm wondering, if you were to like wake up tomorrow and everything that you were wanting to change have been changed, like what kind of things would you've noticed to tell you that they've changed?
I guess just being able. Like, what do you mean in terms of?
So like, let's just say you woke up tomorrow and you didn't have this problem of not having a relationship. How would you have known that that's happening?
I'm not sure. I guess just like being able to contact them in some way would be the only way I'd really know.
Hmm. And what would you want that contact to be like? What kind of relationship are you looking to have?
I don't know. Either like just being able like to talk to them, either on even something like Facebook or something like that. Somewhere like that I know that he cares about what happens to me, and so I can figure out what's up with him as well.
For sure.
Or phone calls, or even back in the day, he used to send me letters. I'd be okay with that. Even.
And what were in these letters when you got them?
A lot of times, you just like tell him what's going up with his life. Occasionally, he had like these little drawings that he got a friend of his to make. But just asking what's going on with my life, like stuff like that.
So that kind of like fatherly son connection that you feel like is not there anymore. And even if you kind of had these little bits of that, it was enough to kind of keep that connection there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this has got to be extremely stressful. Are there ever times that the stress is very heightened for you?
A little bit, like when I get angry, like even just a little thing, sometimes like that, just thinking about him will come up, and then I'll keep dwelling on it, and it can make my mood even worse, going over like getting angry and angrier just thinking about it, and just being frustrated about the whole thing.
For sure. And I have to say, like, it's fair to feel that way. It's a stressful thing to be going through, and I gotta imagine when that's happening, that's gonna be tough for you. I'm just a little curious, what kind of things do you do in that moment to help you when you're getting angry, kind of like bring yourself back a little bit? Because I gotta imagine being in that state's a bit difficult.
And sometimes I'll just try and find some distractions, whether it be playing some video games, listening to some music, or just sometimes I'll sketch and draw something just to get my mind off things, anything to get my mind off anything.
So, I mean, I have to give you a lot of credit. It sounds like you have a very good self-care routine. It sounds like you know how to take care of yourself. And I'm wondering, it sounds to me, we do this thing in my profession called mindfulness practices. And I'm wondering if that's anything you've ever heard about.
Not really. What would that be?
So there's different activities that we can do that when we do get frustrated, when we do get stressed out, sometimes we just need to take a moment and be present in the moment, right? And that's kind of the idea of the mindfulness. So little activities like when you do feel like yourself is getting very heightened and stressed and even having emotions of anger, taking a moment to kind of start thinking about the way you're breathing, because when we do get upset, our breathing patterns get a little flustered, so to speak. So I don't know if this would be something of interested just to try the next time you ever feel like you're getting this way, to take like, take a good 4 seconds, breathe in through your nose and then breathe it out. Sometimes I find with my clients, they find that just kind of getting that equilibrium back, like getting back to a state of stability, helps them. And then also following up by those self-care practices that you already have in place. So I have to commend you on having those routines down. So do you think that would be something useful for you?
Yeah, I think that'd be something interesting or useful, something good to try out.
For sure. And, moving forward, in counseling we do try to set some goals. What would be a goal for you in terms of the relationship with your father?
I guess just try and figure out where he is, or like anything. Like just, or I guess like just figuring out if he's out there whatsoever.
So I could definitely see why that would be a good goal for you. And I'm just wondering, I was just curious about what kind of things have you done to try to locate him?
Well, one of the things is I've asked a couple of people who knew him in Toronto, see if they knew anything. Some people didn't really answer, and other people just didn't know.
For sure.
Another thing is I tried calling, just like going to the police station, just see if in the past he's been arrested, so I've checked if they've found any jail records at all, and
For sure.
luckily nothing. So on the plus side, not in jail. On the negative side, no record whatsoever. So
Definitely.
that didn't work out. Other than that, not really a whole lot.
Well, it sounds to me like you have a lot of initiative, and you've taken those first steps to try to find him, which I think shows a lot about you as a person. And I'm just wondering about maybe some goals that we can set about when you do get frustrated about it, because there's a lot to be frustrated about. I mean, it sounds to me like you kind of feel like you're stuck. Like you want to do this, you want to have that connection, but you feel like there's just no way of doing that, and does it maybe it kind of feels like finding a needle in a haystack. So you have this goal of wanting to have this connection, but you don't have this opportunity to complete the goal. So what kind of goals do you want to set about the way, like how you handle that, like moving forward?
One thing, I just want to be able to manage just the frustration of the whole thing.
For sure.
Like just being able to not get to that point and not get so frustrated with
Yeah.
things so quickly.
And what kind of things in the past have you done when you feel like you've gotten stressed out?
I'll either listen to some music or play some video games, just something to get my mind off of the thing, draw or something like that.
And what kind of things do you want to try as new goals? I know with some of my clients, we've had things when they do get upset and when they do get a little flustered. Even we sit down in our sessions and start writing down what it is that upsets them, what moments kind of trigger these emotions, and kind of a plan of what to do when they happen.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be something that would be interesting?
Yeah, that'd be something interesting to try.
Yeah, so we can sit down together, moving forward. This is, we're going to work as a partnership to try to help move forward, help solve some of those issues that you may be facing. We can have this tool as kind of like a reference for any time that you feel like you're getting frustrated. You can kind of look back at it and say, this is what I can do in this situation. Does that sound interesting?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to go through everything and just kind of put a summary of everything that happened in this meeting and make sure that I got everything. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So you came in here and you identified that you were having struggles with the relationship with your father, and that was kind of affecting you emotionally in forms of kind of anger sometimes, and maybe even just a bit of upsetness. We kind of identified that there's a few goals of us wanting to find out where he is, seeing if we can establish that connection with him, and also about setting kind of some notes about what kind of things trigger those emotions and what kind of situations as well, and what kind of things we can do when those happen. So does that sound about right to you?
Yeah.
Okay. And I also just wanted to check in with you. How are you feeling about the session? Do you feel like this is helpful for you?
Yeah, I think it's helpful to get it all out to someone.
For sure. And I want to commend you on being open and talking this about me. I understand that counseling can be a bit intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
You are meeting with somebody that you've met for the first time. So I do want to commend you on being vulnerable and being open.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, for booking appointments, are you wanting to meet on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis?
I think bi-weekly should
Bi-weekly?
be okay.
Okay, so we will plan to meet in 2 weeks at the same time.
Okay.
And we'll move forward to trying to make those plans and try to establish some solid goals for you moving forward.
Cool.
Does that sound great?
Yeah, it'll be the same place?
Yep.
All right.
All right, sounds great. Thank you very much, Mike.